Hey guys, it's Mr. S. We are catching up on some old videos. We stopped staying completely current, fell a little bit behind, but mostly because we didn't have very many views. So thank you for it's really like maybe 4 or 5 of you guys out of the close to 200 kids that we have. Thank you for watching these videos and taking time to um, get all these concepts down. So continuing on chapter 6, like I said in previous videos, we've already tested over this, so I'm going to kind of fly through this, but if you need to pause the video to finish writing and then replay the video over and over, go for it. That's what these videos are for. We're going to do 6-3 today, which was solving system of equations using elimination by addition and subtraction. Now we've already done 6-1 where we graphed them and found out where they crossed. 6-2 was substitution where we plug one in and we could solve for one variable, plug that variable back in, and do all that. Those videos are up already. You can check those out. So here we go. Let's just go through this real quick. 5x minus 5x plus y equals -4. Or equals 4. Okay. We're also looking at this is essentially what we're doing. We're trying to add or subtract some variables to get 0 to where all I have left is just one variable. Okay. And just so you know, we can write these some different ways. They can also be written with the equals in front or in back, or flip-flopped in case we need to switch something around to match it up. Okay, so things to remember. Okay, we're looking for what I told my students as matching variables. Now, with matching variables, the only qualifications I had was 1, they had to be the same letters, so x and x, y and y. 2, they had to be the same power, so to the first power, to the first power. And 3, they had to have the same coefficient, but I didn't care if it was positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, negative. As long as this digit and this digit are the same, we have our matching variables. Okay, so 3x and -3x I consider matching. 1y and 1y, because remember, if there's no number there, it's just a 1, I consider those matching. Okay. So, looking at our coefficients, if they are opposite signs, we will be adding. If they are the same signs, we will be subtracting. Or, since this is kind of reviewing, we'll essentially just be changing the sign of everything and then adding. So everything kind of goes back to adding. Okay. We solve for the variable that's left, and then sometimes it's not always going to use x and y, so your final answer needs to be in alphabetical order. So A, B, or F, G, or something like that. Just make sure if you can't remember what goes first, just sing your ABCs real quick, and you'll be okay. Okay, so let's get into this. We have 2 equations here, and oh man, it looks like all my writing is gone. So I'm going to have to do this piece by piece. Okay, use elimination to solve. So this is what we're going to do here. We have found our match, 6y and 6y. One's positive, one's negative. And if you remember, when they are opposite signs, we're going to add. So let me write this down real quick. Okay, there's going to be a lot of walking back and forth for me, but that's okay. I got to get this done. We're going to add, and we're essentially just adding top plus the bottom, and we got to make sure everything's lined up. So our x's and our y's and our numbers and our equal signs, everything's lined up, which is why we said we can write everything in different ways if we need to. So 4x plus 3x, quite simply, is 7x. 6 minus 6, that gives us our 0. There is our elimination. And we're adding a subtract to eliminate. And 32 plus 3 equals 35. So essentially all I have left is 7x equals 35. So we just need to finish solving for that. Simply one-step equation, divide both sides by 7, get x equal 5. We're going to plug this back into, and it doesn't really matter which equation you pick. It works out the same, but I'm going to just plug it into the top equation there. So that x is now being replaced with what we know x equals. So 4 times 5 plus 6y equals 32. Now I'm going to work this out real quick. So a couple steps later, 4 times 5 is 20, so I have 20 plus 6y is 32. Subtract 20 from both sides, then divide both sides by 6. I get y equals 2. So I know my x value, 5. I know my y value, 2, but I'm not quite done. The last piece that you have that to get your actual answer is putting it in point form. So without it saying 5, comma 2 in parentheses, the equation is not done. But now we have it, so we're good. Here's a word problem, and we had some of these on our test. Negative 3 times one number plus 5 times another number is negative 11. 3 times the first number plus 7 times the other number is negative 1. So we need to take these and turn them into equations. So let me do that real quick. So I put the top one in blue and the bottom one in green. So negative 3x plus 5y. X is my first number, y is my second number. That's the variables they're talking about. Negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 11. 3x plus 7y equals negative 1. So now I have my two equations here. I have my match at negative 3x and positive 3x. I'm ready to solve. So let me solve these for you real quick. All right, there it is. Added them together because they were opposite, because negative 3x plus 3x gives me my 0, my elimination. So all I have left is 12y equals negative 12, just adding top to bottom. Dividing both sides by 12, I get y equals negative 1. Now I plugged it back into the top equation for this y right here. Negative 3x plus 5 times negative 1 equals negative 11. Just worked that one out. Ended up getting x equals 2. I found y, and then I found x, but it still needs to be in alphabetical order. X, y, 2, comma, negative 1. Okay? So here is an example of when we would need to subtract. Okay, so I have negative p and negative p. They are exactly the same, both negative. Sometimes it might both be positive. What we need to do is subtract top minus the bottom. Or really the easy thing to do is, because when we subtract, we're essentially distributing this negative here. Sorry, the negative changes that to a positive and changes that to a negative. So this gets distributed there, there, and there. Changes the sign. So you can either subtract or really just change the sign of everything, then you can add. Okay. So now if I do negative p plus p, there I get my elimination, my 0. So let me work the rest of this out for you. Alright, so once we're ready to add, 5 minus 7 gives me negative 2, so negative 2m. The p is gone for now. And then 7 minus 11 gives me negative 4. Solve for m, and I get negative 2 here. Just because this is gone here doesn't mean it's not gone from my original equation. So when I plug this back in, I just use the top one. I plugged it back in here. 5m minus p equals 7. So m is 2. 5 times 2 gives me 10. Minus p equals 7. Hopefully, if you really want to, subtract 10 from both sides, divide by negative 1. Or 10 minus 3 is 7. That's some mental math that hopefully you might be able to get. Once we have our m and our p, we got to go alphabetical order and put our answer down. M comes before P alphabetically, so the 2 comes before the 3 in our answer. Okay. Here is another example. This one, it looks like we are ready to add since we have opposites here. So let's add these up real quick. My drawing skills with the mouse are not very good. There's my elimination, because 8 plus negative 8 is 0. This gives me 7y, and this gives me, I'm really sorry, I thought I had these notes saved, 42. Divide both sides by 7, y equals 6. We can plug 6 back in either place, doesn't matter. We'll do the top one, so that's now 30. So 8x plus 30 is 38. I subtract 30 from both sides, minus 30, minus 30, and I have 8x equals 8. So divide both sides, x is 1. We found y first, but when we write this, x comes first. 1 comma 6. Word problem here, and this is the last one. Sum of two numbers is 24. 5 times the first number minus the second number is 12. So the sum of two numbers, that is always going to be x plus y equals 24. And then I have 5 times the first number minus the second number is 12. And it's going to say what are the two numbers. In this particular case, we have an x and y, but the two numbers that they're going to ask for won't be in point form. But for our case, let's put it in point form anyway. So let's solve this real quick. All right, add them together, top to bottom. X plus 5x is 6x. My elimination is here. 24 plus 12 gives me 36. Divide both sides, I get 6. So if x is 6, I have 6 plus y is 24. Subtract 6 on both sides, I get y equals 18. So 6 comma 18, or you'll see it as 6 and 18. In word problems, it doesn't matter either way because we defined the variables, and so you'll probably see it more like this, but either answer will be acceptable. Apologize for the really long video. There was a lot to go over. Page 352, 7 through 25 odd was the homework on this one.